Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimaloye here in Abuja. Let's show you some pictures, that's sad and very graphic ones coming from Maiduguri, the capital of Borno State in Nigeria's northeast region, where major shops and buildings and a lot of thousands of people have now been displaced in the Maiduguri metropolis, the Borno State capital, and parts of the Ajaero local government area have been submerged by flood waters. The Shehus Palace, the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital, and Sanda Kayarimi Park Zoo, where some of the public infrastructure has been now submerged by the flood waters. A prison wall located along the custom area was also broken by flood, and some inmates allegedly drowned while several others escaped for their lives. Major roads within the state capital, including the post office roundabout, which links major locations in the capital, are flooded, thereby cutting off vehicular movement within the metropolis. And of course, you can see some of the pictures, and even children, women, mostly affected by this devastation in that city of Maiduguri. While President Bola Tinubu has ordered the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to assist the flood victims in parts of Maiduguri. And of course, we do see earlier that the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, has returned home. That is his home state, Borno, and has assured Nigerians that the administration of President Bola Tinubu will tackle the challenges of perennial flood in the country, saying that a comprehensive roadmap aimed at addressing the issue head-on has already been developed. Take a look at some of the devastation. Of course, the Vice President trying to navigate through the flood waters and eventually getting on the bus and trying to look around and make an assessment of what really went down. Heart goes out to those who have been displaced and the thousands of people affected by the flood waters. There's a warning that those who are living within the low plain areas, and the warning coming from the weatherman, we need to now heed to those warnings and really make amends in ensuring that lives and properties are not devastated, or at least lives that you can save are protected within this period. So much to talk about. Those criticism of the DSS and the activities, especially in relation to how they handle Joe Ajaero, his arrest, his grilling and eventual release, and of course what happened in at the Abuja office of SERAP, a civil society organization, where the DSS have been speaking about this. But then, how does the DSS do its work? Not infringing on the rights of the average person. These are some of the issues that we need to put perspective on. But on a larger perspective is our nation and the way forward. These are some of the issues that we shall be discussing tonight. But stick around with me. Let me bring you up to speed with some of your political roundup stories.
The Armed Forces of Nigeria is again assuring Nigerians and all residents that the military, in collaboration with other security agencies, will arrest Bello Turji, a bandit kingpin operating along the Sokoto-Zamfara state axis. Addressing a news conference in Abuja after a meeting of service chiefs and heads of other security agencies, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, vows to capture the bandit kingpin in addition to neutralizing other criminal elements terrorizing the nation.
The issue of Turji, like I said, it's just a deranged individual that feels power, but I can bet you that it's just a matter of time. A matter of time, we're going to get this, and I can show you within the shortest possible time, we're going to address that issue and bring it.
The chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Mr. Ola Olukoyede, has announced that the commission will soon be prosecuting bank executives involved in corruption. The FCC chairman was speaking at the 17th annual conference of the Chartered Institute Bankers of Nigeria. He says the commission's findings reveal complicity in money laundering, illegal forex sales, and trading among bank officials. A civil society organization under the aegis of Kimpact Development Initiative have organized the Peace and Security Summit ahead of the September 21st governorship election in Edo State. The event had in attendance stakeholders, traditional rulers, members of political parties, and groups across the 3 senatorial districts of the state. In his remarks, the Edo State Commissioner of Police, Mr. Nem Edwin Iwo, who was represented by ACP James Ichu, says the police and other security agencies are already working in synergy to ensure a free, fair, and peaceful election. The Edo State People's Redemption Party, PRP, governorship candidate, Ms. Patience Ndidi, is urging voters in Edo State to look beyond sentiments. Ndidi, who is the only female candidate in the race, spoke at a news conference in Abuja, where she also appealed to the electorate to resist the urge to sell their votes. She calls on female voters to show solidarity and vote for the only female candidate in the race.
Let's develop a relationship. Let's partner with Edo State. Let's partner with Nigeria to move our people forward and move us forward.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Let's also tell you that it's now a matter of 11 days now before the people of Edo State march to the polls to elect a new governor. So, INEC, how prepared are they? Because they are the umpire. So, INEC has been preparing and getting ready for the exercise. As much as we know, today INEC carried out a mock accreditation exercise in some parts of the state today. And the INEC chairman says they are dotting their I's and crossing their T's to ensure that all goes well with the election. Call these some kind of preparation or rehearsal, and perhaps you might not be wrong. As far as this election is concerned, this is a litmus test for the use of the beavers for the election. Let me allow you to listen to the INEC chairman. Of course, you do know that there is not going to be a voting in this mock accreditation. It's just to test the viability of the beavers.
We have observed, and so far so good, in terms of the readiness of our local government offices for the election, and also the technology that we are deploying for the election. My assurance to everyone in Edo State is, on the part of the commission, we keep saying this: INEC is not a political party. Therefore, we don't have a candidate in this election. The responsibility for choosing the next governor of Edo State is entirely in the hands of Edo voters. And our assurance to all the registered voters in Edo State is to troop out to vote for the party of their choice and the candidate of their choice. And the commission will, as always, protect the integrity of the process and uphold the choice made by the electorate. We are satisfied with both the level of preparation of our local government offices and the 3 offices we have visited, Oredo, Ego, and Ikpoboha, as well as the 2 centers we have visited for the mock exercise. I think we are good to go.
There's some words of assurances that INEC on its own says they're good to go. What about the security and every other aspect of the election? Well, we see at our Panther, of course, we know that there's no other television station in the country today that does election coverage better than we do right here on Channels Television. Call us the election headquarters of the nation. Well, we shall be giving you a robust coverage on Saturday, 21st of September 2024, right here on Channels Television. But let's get you into one of our major topics tonight. The Department of State Services has, of course, released the labor leader, the president of the NLC, Mr. Joe Ajaero. And the NLC is condemning the arrest of his leader by the secret police. And they had warned earlier and asked that it was to be released by midnight or they would take appropriate actions. Where the union had also put all its affiliates, state council, and civil society allies on all patriotic Nigerians on the highest state of alert in the light of what they describe as a troubling development. Mr. Ajaero confirmed that he has been released and he was being grilled by the secret police, but they allowed him to go yesterday night at about 11 p.m. The Nigeria Labour Congress president said he was grilled for about 15 hours since he was arrested around 7 a.m. at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja. Mr. Ajaero says that his travel passport has now been seized by the secret police, and the Labour leader said though he was detained by the DSS, some police officers also came around to grill him at the DSS office in Abuja over the hashtag End Bad Governance nationwide protest that took place in August. Ajaero says that he was grilled and quizzed over alleged terrorism financing involving a British national, Andrew Wine, whom also we spoke to exclusively on here on Channels Television. Of course, you can see that interview on our website and, of course, on our YouTube page. The Labour leader says now that he will travel, he was going to travel to the United Kingdom for a global trade union congress event before he was arrested. But let me allow you to listen to some of the troubling comments being made by some of the Labour leaders. They say that the Nigerian state is after them, and in fact that they are looking into their secretly listening to their telephone conversation. Take a listen to one of the Labour leaders.
We're in a police state. But we'll find that quite embarrassing, not because we do not know the character of the regular police state, but that the people perpetrating this evil themselves were once called themselves champions of democracy. And we have them here on video clips, chanting, saying all manner of things against previous governments. At Ojota. If anybody within this administration thinks by harassing Joe Ajaero or by monitoring the executives of NLC, tapping their phones, invading their privacies and all of that, that they will take us off our trajectory, they'll be making a very costly mistake. Because Nigerians are with us on this. I want to tell you this.
All right. Yeah, one of the spokesperson of the NLC. Let's get some insight. Is it the modus operandi of the secret police in Nigeria? And what would make them to intervene or take those kind of action, especially when a citizen, someone in the caliber of the NLC president is traveling out of the country and he was arrested, he was detained or grilled for almost 15 hours. His passport has been seized by the DSS. All of these issues. Well, Sarah also on one hand is saying that his Abuja office was being ransacked and raided, but the DSS said they did not do that. Let's listen to a former DSS and one man who spent almost all his life working for the secret police, Mr. Dennis Amakri, who joins us virtually. Thank you so much indeed for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Sean.
Is this the DSS that you know, that you worked with, or is it a different one? Because when we wonder, is this the MO or the standard operating procedure of the DSS? Or what do you make of the scenario involving the DSS and Mr. Ajaero?
I think the MO is the same. But I think somebody, especially officials of the Nigerian Labour Congress, are trying to change the narrative. They are changing the narrative to suit themselves. But one thing they don't understand, and which should be clear to every Nigerian here, is that the person of Joe Ajaero is different from the president of the NLC. That is the clear point. Because, you know, if a managing director of a company, for instance, is domestically abusing his wife and is gotten arrested, will not say, oh, they've arrested the CEO of this company. It's different. His CEO job is different from his domestic violence case. So I think that is what we have to make very, very clear. The point here is that Ajaero himself has been a suspect in an ongoing investigation. And then, of course, the police invited him. And then, of course, he finished talking with them. He's not supposed to leave the country because it's an ongoing investigation. And then, of course, he tried to take off from the country. Many people have been running away from the law. You remember the Binas case, where the man went to pray and from there escaped and went out. And of course, same public, they were very, very angry with the security agencies. How can you allow somebody like this to just disappear, to run away from your custody? And we've had many cases like that. And of course, this particular case, they have to stop him from traveling. That's why when he was arrested and taken to the office, it's his passport that was taken to stop him from traveling. You know, it's not that they want to kill him or they want to do any other thing. And then, of course, the NLC have to beat the drum or they're attacking us. NLC was the same NLC that was singing Bosa for the president when they agreed on a 70,000 naira minimum wage. I was watching it, and I felt that there was a very good relationship between the labor unions and the presidency. Now, suddenly, you know, because of Ajaero now, everything has turned around. Even in Imo State, where he was arrested or molested, that was not a labor issue. So we have to separate his personality from the office that he holds.
I mean, we've seen Casey. I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Fantastic. So I'm wondering, this procedure of DSS seizing citizens' passport is not the first time. In fact, there are very popular cases of Olisa Agbakuba and others versus the DSS, where the court says his passport, when he was to travel to The Hague, and that case was a very popular one, and the court says you cannot stop any citizen from traveling, freedom of ingress and egress, and you cannot do that. Why does the DSS keep doing that?
It is very, very clear. The passport, the Nigerian passport, look at it. Take your passport and look inside. That passport belongs to the federal government of Nigeria. Doesn't belong to the person carrying it. That passport belongs to the federal government.
It's not about the item, it's about the implication of what a passport would do for the citizen. So if you have infringed on the right of the citizen from traveling, which is a fundamental right of the citizen to move around any part of the world.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't happen like that. Security agents all over the world, if they want to restrict your movement, they will seize your passport. And that passport belongs to the country that issues it. You know, so it is not a situation of trying to just seize the passport. And let me tell you something about watch lists. Because, you know, I've been in charge of Murtala Mohammed Airport when I was in service. And the watch list is a list that is raised by security agents. And then, of course, it is being populated by other security agencies, even countries, of wanted people or people that are of security interest. They list it there, and when such people are moving, then the alert will be raised and they will stop them. Some country call it
does
stop.
it mean that Joe Ajaero is on the watch list?
Exactly, because he's not the only traveler, but there must be a stop on his name. I don't know, but I can tell you that that would have been the system whereby they will pick him up from the line of people traveling.
So tell us, what kind of offenses would cause the state to stop a citizen from traveling? What are the grade and the level of offenses?
Okay, if you are under investigation, you cannot, in fact, if you, besides the country, if you are under investigation in Lagos, the police will tell you not to leave town because you don't have to go there away and they'll start looking for you, or you can run away. That's one. So for terrorist financing, which he has been accused of and which is under investigation, he cannot leave the country. And even if he's leaving the country, where is he going? Remember, the man that was suspected, the main man that was suspected for financing the terrorism itself, is his tenant. And I don't think Ajaero is going to go to London and not talk to that same person, because he's in London, running his mouth. So if it is in a foreign country, that man would have been, put under custody too. But you are not supposed to leave your country until the investigation is over.
So in that case, the DSS could hold Ajaero's passport for as long as they want, except if the court says otherwise.
Oh, if the court says that, let him go, of course, it's a lawful order from the court. They will give it to him.
But the question here, Mr. Makri, is Ajaero does not look like someone who could be violent or someone who could be invading arrest. Could there have been a warrant to arrest him, to question him? I'm just wondering the rationale behind the DSS actually accosting him at the airport. They know his house, they know his office, they know his whereabouts. Really, there's nobody in this country that the secret police want to go after and they don't know their whereabouts. Anyways, the NLC has accused the DSS of listening to their telephone conversation. So if that is the case, they know where everybody is. Nobody is a stranger as far as the Nigerian state is concerned.
Okay. Very well. They know his house. They know where he lives. They know where his children go to school. Okay? But it's inside the country. It's not supposed to leave.
Why arrest him at the airport? Doesn't that amount to professional hypocrisy? If you have all the powers to know, you have all your eyes everywhere, why can't you just pick him up? Why at the airport when you know that he has an appointment to make or an event to attend outside of the country? Evidently stopping him from attending that event.
Yes, there is an ongoing investigation. He cannot leave the country. They know where he lives, but they've allowed, even right now, they took his passport, they allowed him to go. They did not detain him. So the whole idea, although they know where he lives and everything, and he's inside the country, there's no reason, to arrest or detain him. Let him remain in the country while the investigations are going on. If they keep him now, everybody will start shouting, oh, they are detaining him. Oh, they are supposed to take him to court, But remember, they cannot conclude this case because the major suspect is not in the country. And I'm very, very sure the National Intelligence Agency and the Foreign Affairs Ministry might be doing some kind of connections to make sure they repatriate that guy to Nigeria. If we have a repatriation agreement with Britain, I think they do. But that is the situation there. So he's being taken or being arrested. Yes, he can be arrested because they feel that he was trying to flee, you know, and that is very, very normal because somebody who is having a felony case on him, the security agencies can go ahead and make a felony arrest.
So now, I'm wondering, and I'm looking at how this all works. The other day, the whole world saw how Joe Ajaero, alongside his lawyer, Femi Falana, went to the Nigerian police, submitted himself for questioning, and at the end of the day, they allowed him go. So the question would be, why didn't the DSS invite him just like the police did? Or DSS don't invite people? Is that their MO?
I don't know, but I believe that he was invited. I believe that he was invited, and maybe he didn't show up. And then, of course, that will have even enhanced his name being on the watch list. Okay? And in fact, even the one with the police, when there is a very serious security problem, I think Nigerians should know. You don't tell the security agencies or the police when you will come. Oh, they want you to come to the station now. But you are saying, oh, no, I cannot come. I have some meetings to attend. I will come next week. It does not work that way. It does not work that way. And Nigerians should know that. You know, we are talking of a security department. In a democracy, that's why it's even, of course, making all these allegations and stuff like that. I have known situations in other countries where the government is more stricter, and then, of course, this will not be happening.
Well, I mean, there is a video flying around, and when we wonder how these will pan out on the optics of Nigeria and the civic space. This is the leader of the labor union, and the event he was supposed to attend, that those members in that meeting who were saying that Mr. Ajaero is being persecuted by the Nigerian state. That is the optics in the global scene that Nigerian government is saying as persecuting Mr. Joe Ajaero. Is the DSS worried about optics?
Yes, Sean, you have to be very clear. That was what I started with. We have to change this narrative. The narrative is wrong. It is not the president of the Nigerian Labour Congress that is being invited. He's being invited for some other thing. So we have to separate the personality of Joe Ajaero from the president of NLC. So
let me put it in a perspective. So because some of us are in the business and we're trained as a communication expert. So part of what you do is also not only in the chemistry or the semantics of what you say, is also how it looks and how it feels. So yes, you're not just only saying it because it suits you to say, but you need to also be considerate and also be conscious and sensitive to the ears of those who are listening. So the question about optics comes on the heels of the fact that there is an outrage in the nation about price of a major commodity that affects the bottom line and the lives of the citizen, causing hardship. And this is a man who is in the forefront of fighting for the rights of the citizen. And so even if you have anything against this man or he's done anything untoward, couldn't the DSS be smart or be wise enough to have handled this in a different way, even if he has done anything wrong, such that you are not making it look like you are not happy to the voice of dissent and you are now clamping down on the voice of those who are fighting for the majority of the helpless and those who are the downtrodden of our people. The optics is very key. Is your training or the training of the people who work as secret police in Nigeria usually thinking about such line?
Seun, I have said it very, very clearly. We are dealing with a case involving Joe Ajaero. And then, of course, the labor union is different. I don't know where we are pushing this narrative that the government is trying to suppress the voice of dissent. I don't work for government. You know, I'm out here looking in and then weighing, analyzing the whole situation. What's the voice of dissent? I don't see any problem with NLC and the government. I can't see it. There is no problem. Like I told you just some weeks ago, they were with the president and they were hailing him. You know, so it is not a matter of the government and NLC. Joe Ajaero has a terrorism case to answer. And of course, it's not above the law. You can be president of the NLC. You can be the managing director of the biggest company, you know. But if you have a case, a security case, especially bordering on terrorism or subversion, then you have to answer that. In fact, I think the security agents have been very, very nice to him in the sense that they've been really communicating with him, talking to him. Even the police have to allow him to come the day he wanted to come. He has to bring all his lawyers to go with him. Remember, he went with all his lawyers to go to police station, you know, which he would have gone by himself. But
so,
no
Mr. Makri, so fundamentally, Joe Ajaero is now somewhat cannot travel, but the 15 hours or how many hours of grilling, is that a tactical, mental torture? Is that the way, is that what is meant to do, to torture you mentally? Sometimes we've been told that you are being kept in a room for 3-4 hours and just to mentally mess you up. Is that the usual thing, or what is the 15 hours? What exactly does he want to say? What are the questions that he wants to answer for 15 hours?
Seun, you've been watching too many detective movies. I'm not here to talk.
This sounds like one, because the man himself said he's been detained for 15 hours for questioning and grilling. Yeah, so I'm very sure that some of those who have you have grilled in the past will be watching that, how long you have kept them too. Why do you people keep people for that long? Why?
No. I'm not here to discuss the techniques of how, you know, the security agencies interrogate people or interview people. Okay? So that is a different kettle of fish. All right? But they will get their information. They will get to the bottom of it. And that's what they are trained to do. But the way they go about getting it is left to them to do. And I think we should allow them to do it because, you know, if they don't do it, people will also shout, national security, why are these people so lazy? Why are they not doing what they are supposed to do? You see, we are not going to play a game where the security agencies are cowed and they cannot do their work.
All right. Mr. Dennis Amakri.
No, excuse me, Seun. You and I have even discussed it before, where government interference is even another thing. You know, we don't want politics to mix with security. So they have to be allowed to do their job.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dennis Amakri, for this insight that you are giving us on how things are working. Of course, the Nigerian government has also reacted. Mr. Bayo Onanuga, who speaks for the president, had come out to say that Nigeria is a country governed by law and categorically denies any kind of human rights abuse and explaining that this is a modus operandi common to secret police across the globe. And in fact, this is what the DSS have done according to law, and there is no interference by the federal government of Nigeria. Thank you so much indeed, Mr. Makri, for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me, Jean.
Yeah, we'll take a break, everyone. More about the state of our nation in the issue of finding a cohesive and united Nigeria. How do we go about it? We'll find out more in my next guest. We'll be right back. There's a critical question that everyone needs to be asking. In the last 60 years or more that Nigeria got independence, the fundamental question that are we moving forward or are we static? Where exactly do we want to be as a people? In fact, those who will say, we've not even been able to identify our own identity as a nation. A nation does not identify its own identity. How then can it, on the world stage, be able to boast of anything? Because you don't even have an identity that you can also boast of. And this is a time that everyone is asking that then there's a need for cohesion from the north to the south to the west. Everywhere in this country is blessed. But how united are we? Can we move forward if we are not united? I'm being joined tonight by one person who speaks every time into the issue of national cohesion and the pathway for Nigeria to move forward into the very beaming light that we are also dreaming, everyone is dreaming of. Musa Ododo Abdurrahman is the founder and the president of the Initiative for Discovery of Nigeria Heritage and Endowment, and is also the project director of the National Policy Dialogue. He joins us live here in our Abuja studio. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Greetings with all humility, Sheung. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Where did we get it wrong? Or how did we get it wrong? Because one thing that is fundamental is that I am one person who believes in the Nigerian project.
Great.
And I do believe that we are not in the right place. But there is a place that we were meant to be.
Absolutely.
In the black world, we are perhaps so notable. But then, have we been able to stamp our feet enough to be able to get that respect that we needed? I guess the answer, everyone will say no.
Yes.
But where did we get it wrong? How did we get it wrong before we start discussing where to go from here?
Basically, in the evolution of the nation, there is there's no thing like getting it wrong. It's part of what I called in my meditation about this great entity, Nigeria. I called evolutionary disorder. You have to go and look at all nations in the whole world. That is the first thing we must get right. Every nation, all civilization, all nations in the whole world, before they get it right, there is a transitional disorder that you must go through. There's going to be an upheaval. There's going to be all sort of adversities. But how do you understand that is key. And I think that is the crux of the discussion today. Have we been able to go through our own upheavals enough? Because trust me, the generation behind me, the ones in front of us, those pre-independence generation, the post-independent generation, some of us who were born in the military era, I think we've seen enough of the upheavals. But have we had our fair share of the upheavals? Yes, we've had our fair share, but how do we respond to that matters? How do you understand it? And that is very, very key. How do you understand? Because nature will never take anything away from you except you have understood what he is teaching, and he's the best teacher. Evolution is development is nature, is natural. That is why man is ordained and endowed. The human person is ordained and endowed to comprehend the universe and govern his own space. But he must first understand the laws that govern the universe, of which the world he lives is part of. And he must do that systemically and scientifically. And that is what we'll be getting. That is what we've not done right. What is unique about this country, though? Oh, Nigeria is I love the question you're asking me, because Nigeria is an entity of providence that must fulfill a purpose for humanity. It is not by accident that nature, or we call it, of course, what is nature? Who drives nature? Which is God. God has brought together the greatest concentration of blacks on the surface of the earth, called Nigeria today, to fulfill a purpose. And that purpose is to establish a civilization. A civilization. Every Nigerian listening to me today must, I pray, is getting to the right, and we can understand this. Nigeria is the last, what I call the last new archetype of civilization for the humanity. I'm telling you, Nigeria it has a mandate. It's a divine, what I call divine mandate. When I say divine, it's spirit. It's beyond. Maybe we're not talking about religious now. It's divine mandate, and that is how it is. Even a person, or they do tell us that you must have a purpose-driven life. So it is in nation. So
there's something unique about the Nigerian
absolutely.
state.
There's nothing unique. There's something unique about Nigeria. It has a destiny.
All of us need to realize that there's something unique about us.
Absolutely.
And that's why wherever you go to Texas, the state of Texas, you go to Washington, D.C., you go to everywhere in the world, you go to India, you go to the UK, and you see Nigerians doing so well. Medical doctors, engineers, Nigerians sitting in the boards. Nigerians are, in fact, in the governance of many countries of the world. Nigerians representing other nations of the world in Olympics and all what have you. So there's something unique about the nation called Nigeria.
There's something unique about this, but we have to realize there's nothing that is so devastating as that's why they say know thyself is a universal, eternal, is the truth. You must know thyself.
Unto thyself be truth.
And that is it. Because you wonder that why do they leave this shore and thrive? And we cannot thrive here because every Nigeria we are a seed of greatness. But where you plant that seed matters. So yes, that is why great and unified nations.
So is it an environmental problem? And there are those who will say, look, the Asians, they have their own disasters. Even in Europe and all, they have their own disaster. The major disaster a lot of people have identified in Nigeria is the Nigerian people. A lot of the time you find out that some of the disasters economically are some Nigerians. Some of the disasters politically are Nigerians in several other sectors. Because you wonder, how did we find ourselves in this mess? And so there are some of the disasters. We have literally every weather, one clothes for all weather in Nigeria, and you will be fine. In other parts of the world,
everything.
You have to be extraordinary to make ends meet.
Yes.
But then, the question I asked earlier, is it an environmental issue? Is it that if you plant the seed in Nigeria, it will not germinate, and you plant it outside there, it will germinate? Or what exactly is the problem?
That is it. You see, the space that we live, that we call the world that we live, is governed by principles. Principle transcend belief. You believe in it, you don't believe in it. Sun will come out tomorrow. I will not believe that sun will come. It will definitely come out. So
either you like it or not.
Either you like it or not, it will definitely come out.
The air will pass through.
The air will pass through. That we have to. And the human person is the nation. You are the nation, Sheun. I am Abdurrahman. I am the nation. Everybody is a nation. So we are going to develop to the extent to which we understand who we truly are as a people. There's no Nigeria. A nation transcends the geographical entity. Is a human person that is a nation. That is why great and unified nations do not happen by historical accident. It's never a happenstance. They are product of a conscious statecraft. Yes, they are product of a conscious statecraft. Nations are created. If you do not consciously create one, you can never build any. Then the question will be asked, how do we create a nation? Nigeria is a nation waiting to be born. But how do we do that?
How do we do it?
How do we do it? That's I love it. Everybody's craving to have this, and I'm happy. Though, of course, TV time is always small, but let me quickly summarize it so that at least our viewers can understand. Just like I said, nations are created.
So Nigeria is not yet born?
No, Nigeria is not yet born. Absolutely. I'll give a very practical example. Though we are not America, but at least we borrowed this democracy from America, and America is still I mean, everybody still looks at the headquarters of their democracy. So now I love to go back to that. It's not just borrowing democracy from them. Though, and I say it again, we are not, every nation is unique, but at least we are taught in Nigeria, you go from where you know, we go from where you know to where you don't know. We are going for at least, they are established. Of course, they didn't have, I mean, we cannot say, there's no society that is perfect, but I just want to draw us back to something. And the Gettysburg speech, and I just quickly, so that one captured it, Abraham Lincoln Gettysburg speech. He said immediately he's opening that the speech. He said 77 years ago, our father brought forth on this continent a new nation. Our fathers brought forth. The synonym of brought forth is birth, born on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty. To tell you that they have the conception, a nation is a concept, conceived in liberty and dedicated. If we born now, we go and get dead with the girl. We born a child now, dedicated to that all dedicated to this proposition that all men are created equal. And let me take that to American. They call this the founding principle. When Thomas Jefferson, every time I read, I used to look at how did these people, because they knew where they were getting, they knew what they wanted. You see, when Thomas Jefferson stood before the assembly and read the most momentous decision ever put upon paper, he said, and I quote, "We hold this truth to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain all unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness." This became the spirit of their character, the underlying sentiment of their culture. This is what American dream is founded on. I'm telling you. So this is principle. They call it found. When you look at if immediately you open at the American, you see American Constitution, you see it, the founding principle. So nations are founded on a bedrock.
So Nigeria is not yet founded.
Absolutely. What it is, you look at.
Do we have the? I mean, there are those who will say, how do we then begin? How do we start?
Yes, we can. That is it. Every time you see, Nigeria is at the pinnacle of the most significant evolutionary transition. Anybody that can discern time, we know it. We are the pinnacle of the most significant evolutionary transition. And meaning that, what does that mean? The exigencies of our time demands that we must begin to exploit the inner dimension of our intelligence, of who we truly are as a people. You mentioned something that's very key. We don't even know who we are. This person will say identity. The first thing a country does is identity. And in my meditation and my research, I came up with 5 fundamental questions that you must answer as a people to create a nation, to consciously create a nation. You might want to ask that. When we say nation, we're not saying that we are going to another country. One of my late foster father wants to call me. He said, he called me early in the morning. I said, Abdul, I believe in this, your new Nigeria. Early in the morning, he opened the door, brought a new sheet paper, a plain sheet before me. Abdul, what is this new Nigeria you're talking about? And that is what I want to share with you. I didn't even know this. You know, anything you are meditating on, it comes. I just brought my pen. I just write it. The new Nigeria is a conscious creation of a new nation with a clear and well-defined unifying purpose, established by eternal principle and driven by lofty ideas. I said, Daddy, nations are created. He said, And he studied in America. I said, yes. He said, he now brought all this. I said, it's true. I said, nations are created. How do you do this? I said, at the junction that we are, people come together. There's nothing you can do about it. And we have we have the great time now. Anybody, I just pray and hope that this conversation is going to the right person.
I mean, do we have the, because a lot of the times you need leadership to be able to pivot us into where we want to be.
Yeah.
Do we need the political leadership, or where do we get the pivot?
It's very, very pivotal. Political leadership, very, very pivotal. That is why I was very particularly happy. Though everybody said our dear President Ahmed Tinubu did not address the issue properly, the way he should when he was responding in his speech. I mean, in his response to the end bad governance. But I'm a kind of person that I listen. I don't listen to verify. I listen to. So I meditate. If you're talking, I listen to you meditatively. He said something that is very, very perceptive. He said dialogue, and it has been. Go and study every society, every civilization that has gotten to do that. When you are at this juncture, you call for dialogue because it's called for. We need to exploit, we need to exploit, come together with it has to be. It has to be we have to seek that communal effort there, because the wisdom is there within the people. There is no country in the world. There is no solution. The solution of Nigeria is within Nigeria. So there must be a broad national conversation around this.
We need to sit down.
We need to sit down.
Who are these people? Who are they going to be? Are they the heirs or the elders or the young people?
It's going to be the first. It's going to be admixture of Jesus, and it's going to be a phase. The first phase that I'm proposing, and I was very happy. Our organization just jumped on it because I personally have done 30 years research work. Some people refer to me elderly. They say, Abdul, you're a philosopher. I don't know. So I said, somebody said you're a social philosopher. And I looked at philosopher like Socrates. I said, and I said, maybe I am. So probably the work I had done, you can qualify it as a social philosophy, because that is the first thing. So every thriving system all over the world is built upon foundation of social order. What is social order? It means foundation of society. Every order. So in the first conversation we must have, we carry wisdom. We have dialogue with wisdom. That is what we target. Dialogue is not a dialogue of everybody now. It's a dialogue of people. It has happened in all other climes. Look at the Great Depression in everywhere. You look at people that have superior idea. Philosopher. We have philosopher. What is philosophy? Philosophy is a philosophia, Greek word. Philo, lower of Sophia, wisdom. People that are endowed with wisdom. I'm not saying, there are people, I'm not saying I have, I don't know if I have, but at least there are people that have identified, there's someone along the line. I mean, when I started this, I've got, in short, I have by the last tank is about 450 great men that they are doing this work. I have somebody that's 40 years research work. It's a conclusive research of the alternative development concept that he has done.
For Nigeria. For
Nigeria. But those kind of persons you never had. That's what I'm saying. The first I target, dialogue with wisdom. Bring people of policy, profound policy thinkers together.
We need to build and craft.
Yes, that's
birth a new idea.
Absolutely.
That will be the spirit of our nation.
Absolutely. A new consciousness.
Which doesn't look like we have one.
We don't have one.
That's why we can keep changing national
anthem every time.
Another government can come and change it.
Yes, because there's no.
We need to identify the spirit. And that spirit will lead us on.
Oh, absolutely.
In whatever we are doing.
Nation is the spirit. I love the way you got it. Oh, you're a man of great wisdom. Nation is a spirit. Is the collective consciousness and aspiration of the people. It is not a geographical area. So how do you create a new consciousness? The spirit that will guide it.
So take Nigerians from this physical enclave and take us somewhere else.
Yeah.
We will see the great people.
Yeah.
Because our greatness is not in the land.
It's not in the land.
It's not in the water. It's in us.
It's in us. It's within us.
And we have so much under the ground that we are stepping on that will make us greater.
Great. And except you connect that to this, it never work.
Have we been unfortunate with the kind of leaders that we've had in this country?
Yes, I will say yes or no, because the leaders are a product of that society. This is deep.
So we need to actually define our society.
Absolutely.
We have no identity.
We have no identity.
We are people who are just moving on the street.
You know what I got the first question before we go? I said, identity. Who are we? I asked God, who are we as a people? That's identity. Where is our commonality of purpose? Because purpose is the most powerful intangible force that binds people together. Yes, in short, that is what you build. When
you bet a company, you have to give it a vision and a mission.
Absolutely.
And the Holy Book says,
without
you have a vision, you need to write it down so that you can
run with it. Absolutely. And without it, the people are perished without vision. Yes. So who are we as a people? Identity,
our purpose.
Our purpose. Where is our commonality of purpose? What is the foundational principle, like that America? What is the foundational principle of this entity called Nigeria? Which philosophy impairs the character of this state? And the last one, what is the Nigerian dream? Or what is the ideas? What is the Nigerian ideas? The values. Those 5 questions must be there.
Answered. Musa Ododo Abdurrahman is the founder and the president of Initiative for Discovery of Nigeria Heritage and Endowment, and also the project director of the National Policy Dialogue. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you so much.
This is not our everyday kind of conversation, but I think that a lot of the times our nation needs to have that injection of these kind of ideas so that we can move forward. Thank you so much indeed.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
I appreciate you being accompanied tonight, everyone, for whatever you may be watching. And that's our dose for tonight and for today. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Kimale. I'll see you tomorrow, God willing. God bless Nigeria.